So this is the Cochno stone. I don't know how you pronounce it. However, I have found a match, sort of. In order for this to work, I had to flip the image. Now, whether the stone was intended for it to be flipped, I don't know. I've had to flip the image, so back to front, and it kind of works. So here, I reckon this represents the sea here, and these feet represent the way out, sort of the exit here, so to speak. And then this is an estuary that comes in and then goes around inland, because the stone itself was found, if this is a map, the stone itself was found here. And normally, well, I won't say normally, the French stone was found near to the map. So relatively speaking, you would think that this stone is representing an area that's close to the map. So if we zoom in to part of the map, you can see what looks like maybe the estuary coming in, and it's the only Scottish lake or inlet or estuary that I can find that kind of matches, but only if the image is flipped. Which have they lifted up this stone to see if there's anything on the other side? I do think it's bedrock though, so it might be tricky to lift up. It might be a bit heavy, but I think it's bedrock, so I don't think they can lift it up. But this is the only bit that kind of actually fits. It sort of fits. So if I go back, if I minimize this image and we bring it down, let's kind of, come on, bring it down. Bring this side in, bring that kind of to there, and if I move that over there, you see how it kind of fits there with that bit, and then it goes around and it's sort of narrow, but then it widens out, where it kind of is narrow there and it widens out, and then it widens out. And the actual place where the stone was found, I've got it here somewhere. Here we go, the stone. Bring that back up. So the stone was found here, right? And as you can see, it kind of narrows down. And this, see how it sort of goes up a bit, and it kind of does go up a bit there. And then it sort of slopes down and goes narrow, and it does sort of slope down and go narrow. And then the river is sort of straight going off. So it kind of is straight going off. And this rock here almost looks like the shape of the stone itself. So could it be the stone? So I thought, well, what if I try and find all the other barrows and henges in Scotland? So if I put that layer on now, I've got the henges. So the yellow ones are the henges, right? And the red ones are the barrows. So these are all the barrows in Scotland. Now, as you can see, there's not many in this vicinity, but the river kind of fits if you flip the image. So what I've done is, you see these red dots, these are my geo-referencing points, and it kind of, if we bring the image back up, so this point here, it kind of dips down, and that's that one, sort of in there. And then you see how it sort of goes up here? Well, if we drag that over a bit, it kind of goes up there. Look, it kind of curves round a bit here, and it does sort of curve round a bit, and then it kind of goes up, and then they've got a little bit of a wobble there, which could be that wobble, and it goes up to a point up here. And then you've got another one that comes off here, and that could be that one. And then up here, you've got, it kind of goes along and then goes up. If I drag that Oh, I don't want to cover my picture up. Let's drag it down there, sort of. So here it's coming along, got a bit of a bump. See the bump there? Well, there's a bit of a bump. And then it kind of goes up, and it does sort of go up. So perhaps that matches that bit. So what I've done is I've taken this image and I've georeferenced it to see if it will fit. And it kind of fits. Like that. I've made it slightly transparent. So now all these, and it's distorted in places. I've got to admit, it is distorted in places. But it kind of fits. It kind of fits with the estuary. So you've got the feet coming out. Well, these wobbly lines could represent the sea, and you've got the feet coming out. You know, if that was land, it'd be there. And then you've got, see, there's a ridge line here, and there's a massive, great big henge on the top of it. So if I georeference that point, well, not georeference, if I took a grid reference for this point here, because it's right on the top of a ridge, obviously. And then you've got another one that's kind of in the middle of that bit, which kind of works. And if we zoom out, look, there's a henge on this island, and there's a henge here. And then this yellow mark is a henge, and there's a henge near it. And there's a henge here. I don't know if that's a henge, but it's kind of near. You know, can you see what I'm looking at here? And then you've got these ones here that are on the land, and it kind of works. So you've got these are red things are barrows, and then there's barrows there. Look, there's a henge here. Well, there's henges there, and then once it gets off of this local area where I've georeferenced it, it will lose its sort of structural integrity. But then you've got a henge here, right next to this big one here. So I don't know. Was the stone intended to be looked at backwards? Yes, that's a long shot. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over. I'm going to take a grid reference. Here we go. For this point right here. And I'm going to see if I can find some LIDAR, because I think Scotland does have LIDAR. And I'm going to click here. Here's the grid reference. And I'm going to see if there's a henge right there. And if there's a henge right there, well, could be onto something. Copy.